What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 3. This is going to be a Division 1 game from the American region. We're going to have no Earthspirit on the Radiant going up against Isurus Gaming on the Dire. I'm going to be one of your casters here on HeflaTV 2. I'm Mike Loris, and also with me is Grandis V.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't cast either of these teams for quite some time, as I've been mostly taking European and Southeast Asian stuff. But no Earthspirit, I've seen them around quite a bit. In some of the first tournaments I was casting, they were playing. And, well, I don't know. It's some pretty familiar names. And Isurus Gaming, I haven't seen them as much, but I don't know. They looked pretty solid. This should be fairly close, or at least one can hope.
Yeah, I mean, haven't casted no Earth in quite a long time. I recognize kind of Soyeon from when I just started casting. I always would almost make fun of him for his taste in Korean pop, but I just never quite would get there. But yeah, so I've seen Isurus around a little bit more. They seem to be very unpredictable. Like sometimes they would run just weird stuff. I believe I saw them play a sniper, and that was the really long game. I'm pretty sure that was Isurus, but yeah, they are kind of known to run kind of weird stuff, so I'm always going to be a fan of teams that do that. Hopefully we're going to be seeing something like that, but in this particular draft, it's going to be vanilla so far, just pretty standard bans, although Lycan is in still.
Actually, as I check the Join Dota profile for both of them, no Earthspirit have actually defeated Isurus every time they've went up against them. 3 encounters, 3 wins.
Alright, so Isurus are not only the people who pick weird heroes, but they're also the underdogs, so let's go. Let's have a nice underdog story, or, you know, have at least a good showing, so you never want to have a team just constantly being stomped all the time.
Well, as far as the draft, we are going to have Doom, Faceless Void, Banned Out, Razor, Viper, and first pick Death Prophet. Oh no, Isurus Gaming, they could first pick up a Lycanthrope, and I don't see a reason why they shouldn't.
Maybe because they have a gentleman's agreement not to pick Lycan, and we're not going to see him banned or picked at all. That's definitely what's going to happen. But in all seriousness, he's probably one of, if not the strongest hero in the game right now, especially on the Dire side. You're gonna have to try really hard to lose on the Dire if you have a Lycan, but it looks like it's not going to be the case. Tidehunter, Scarith Mage. Lycan is still on the sidelines.
Tidehunter does pretty well up against a Lycan in lane, but still I don't expect him to be ignored by no Earthspirit. If he is ignored throughout the first couple of picks, I definitely think we're going to see him banned in the second stage, and if not, they probably won't pick him up at all. But I'd expect him to be banned out. It is going to be a Death Prophet Shadow Shaman opener for no Earthspirit, so just securing an extra support. But already, this pushing power coming out from no Earthspirit is pretty intense. But Isurus Gaming, they have some decent things to start off team fights as well.
Yeah, for the Dire, they are going to not be able to get the Tinker, which would have been fantastic against this pushing from no Earthspirit. Though it isn't very much so a unit-based pushing lineup, just having it in general is always going to be very nice as a defense. But Tidehunter Scarith Mage is more of team fight slanted as far as the first 2 picks are concerned. No Earth, more on the pushing end, as you were saying before. So when it does come to that, just most of the game comes down to execution. Like, does the pushing side push well, or do they get caught off by a huge Ravage? If they get caught by a 3-4 man Ravage, then things usually go south from there, especially when you have a Mystic Flare to follow up. You're able to pretty easily kill anyone who's caught in that Ravage. It gets really vicious really quickly, but second bans and Batrider, Tinker, still no Lycan. I think Isurus still could pick up that hero and be just fine.
Yeah, I definitely think so. No Earthspirit, they're gonna ban out the Pugna. I was going to expect either a Brewmaster or Lycan ban coming out from them. Either one. Now Isurus, they can ban out the Brewmaster themselves and then pick out the Lycanthrope. That would give them a amount of push that would counteract that coming out from no Earthspirit, even though it's just one hero. Even with just the Lycanthrope standalone, it will be a Lycan ban, and, well, I think that Isurus, they have their options open to them, but I still think Brewmaster is pretty good to pick up. Instead, it's going to be an Invoker, a pretty solid mid-hero that's used to being in the second picking stage.
Yeah, so if you're... Well, let's settle this first of all. Are we going to say Isurus or Isurus? I've been saying Isurus.
Oh, let's see. Isurus is fine. Isurus is what I've called them forever, so whether I'm wrong or not...
Well, if there's an official way to pronounce it, I'm sure the chat will let us know. Until then, let's just call it Isurus. That'll be fine, I think. But yeah, Lycan going to be a ban out. You really don't want to have a Lycan with a Shadow Shaman Death Prophet. At a certain point, the push just becomes too damn good, and you just can't do anything about it. And I think those three heroes is about at that point. So No Earth, their pushing is going to be slowed down by the fact they can't get their hands on the Lycan. And Isurus, well, Invoker is going to synergize pretty well with the Tidehunter, but not that great against the Silencer. This Global Silence is going to be crippling.
Yeah, that is if it comes out at a good timing. However, if they get the jump on this Silencer, I don't see him surviving. If they get a Ravage onto him, he's going to, I don't know, just be ripped to shreds like wet paper. There's very little that he'll be able to do to survive, especially with the standard build we're seeing nowadays, with just rushing the Aghanim Scepter into the Refresher. Potentially he'll need a BKB or something along those lines later on. I'm going to expect this to be a farming Silencer. If it's a support, I just think that's too greedy. So we're probably looking an offlaner and another support for no Earthspirit.
Yeah, I think support Silencer's pretty bad. I mean, you don't get much presence in other lanes. You can poke at the enemy sometimes, though if it's like the support Silencer lane versus the Tidehunter, Curse of the Silent isn't really going to be doing much since Anchor Smash is going to get rid of that very quickly. So I would expect to see that from no Earthspirit as well. It's going to help them in their pushing, as if Silencer is in the back when the Death Prophet and Shadow Shaman are in the front doing their pushing things, and that'll probably be the best case scenario for No Earth, seeing as though they could, realistically start fights on the Tidehunter, and with the Global Silence, that usually is a reliable way, or semi-reliable way, of killing him off before things get too hairy. But Isurus, they're going to go for Vengeful Spirit. The Vengeful Skywrath Mage combination work well together, as the lore would indicate, but Magic Missile into Mystic Flare, it'll kill pretty much anyone on no Earthspirit.
Yeah. It will also give them some decent setup for the Invoker Sunstrike fairly early on, when they're roaming around, or if they want to roam around. This combo definitely can get some kills. I'm not sure if this is going to be a farming veg, but I'm going to expect this to be a support. It gives them some fairly easy access to Roshan as well, with the minus armor as well as the plus damage aura. Invoker and Vengeful Spirit can more or less just take that by themselves. Then if you add a Gush on top, it'll be that much easier. But no Earthspirit, pick themselves up a Jakiro.
Well, this is going to confirm, for one thing, that the Silencer is going to be playing in a core role, unless they really want Jakiro to get farm, which is a possibility. Some teams do like to do that, but I don't think this is going to be one of them. So Jakiro as a support, it goes decently well with Shadow Shaman. Like, you can hit your Ice Path after the Hex or whatnot. Usually that's not really what the Jakiro is all about, though. It's all about that Liquid Fire. It's all about putting some very early damage onto the tower and just getting a couple of right clicks in here and there. It does add up over time with the Liquid Fire and having, Jakiro and Silencer throw a couple of auto attacks in, and then later on when you're pushing with Shadow Shaman and Death Prophet, it just makes it so much safer.
I'm not a huge fan of the Jakiro pick here. It's going to really stop their ability to roam around the map. With the Shadow Shaman as well as the Jakiro, both of those heroes, especially early on, need some sort of setup. Either set up the Ice Path or get the Shadow Shaman in range for his Shackles, and they're going to be lacking that. I think more or less they're just going to be sitting in lane, pulling and zoning out the Tidehunter, which is fine and all. Delaying the Tidehunter as much as possible is good. By no means is that a bad thing, but Tidehunter does have the contingency plan of his Ancients, and he can also go back into the jungle if things go really south. I'd expect them to block his Ancients, but then again, the Invoker, as well as whatever Isurus Gaming have as their safe lane farmer, is going to be pretty happy with this choice, if they aren't very active around the map.
So I see the chat pretty much spamming Brewmaster. It would be a pretty nice pickup here, but it looks like they're going to go for a Lone Druid instead. Sorry, chat, you are completely wrong, or kind of wrong. I guess they get a bear somehow. Lone Druid as the pickup, I don't know how much I like this. I mean, Isurus, they're not going to be going for a lot of pushing themselves, although they can with the Invoker, Forge Spirits, plus the Lone Druid. I feel like he just gets a little bit too long to get online, Lone Druid. You really want a Radiance on him, and when you're being pushed like this, you're not going to have that much space.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this Lone Druid is actually going to be able to get off the ground, but if he does, late game Lone Druid definitely can trade pretty effectively up against the Death Prophet, but then again, if you have the Shadow Summon and Serpent Wards as well, that does change things. But Demolish is going to be very useful on the structures coming up from no Earthspirit, and if he does get online fast, the Silencer, Shadow Shaman, and Jakiro are just going to be run down by Radiance Baron. Well, Brewmaster, they were right about something. The pick is going to come out, but on the no Earthspirit side, I think this is still a solid pick, as most of the other offlaners were either already picked in the Tidehunter Lone Druid, or banned out. The Centaur was not available, so I'm liking this last pick, Brewmaster. They do have the Skywrath Mage Silence and all, which is nice, but I still think he'll be able to pretty reliably get off his ultimate and just wreak general havoc, because we have a lot of disconnects. This might be a remake.
Yeah, it looks like we are... Yeah, need remake. Okay, guys. We're going to leave, and... Yes, I'm sure. and we'll be into the lobby shortly enough. But yeah, for Brewmaster, you really never go wrong with that hero, or very rarely do you go wrong with that hero, so it's going to offer the No Earthspirit a little bit more team fight. That with Global Silence is pretty devastating. You could lock out the Tidehunter or the Invoker for a very long time between the ultimate Cyclone from the Brewmaster and a Global Silence.
Yeah. Also, the Lone Druid Spirit Bearer is going to spend the majority of his time in the air during those team fights, and that's going to be very annoying for him. More often than not, you're not going to see a BKB on the Spirit Bearer, and if you do, it's going to be very late into the game, probably after the Brewmaster has already kind of fallen off. So yeah, I definitely like the Brewmaster pick. It's going to really shore up their team fight and give them a lot of fighting potential, despite going up against a Tidehunter on the enemy team. Actually, how are the lanes going to work out for Isurus? Oh my goodness, I forgot how we were going to say it. Isurus. Okay, there we go. Yeah. They have a Tidehunter as well as a Lone Druid on the same team. What was their third core? Oh goodness.
Druid,
it's an
Invoker, Tide.
Okay, so Invoker's presumably going to be going mid. Lone Druid probably wants a solo lane, so is that a tri-lane Tidehunter? Or are these supports just going to spend most of their time roaming?
Yeah, I think it's mostly going to just be nomadic supports. They have so much damage between the two. They have a decent setup. They're ganking into lanes that won't really be able to help him out that much. Like Tidehunter, if he gets close for an Anchor Smash, that's about all he can contribute because he's most likely not going to get Gush. And Lone Druid, not able to contribute that much. Invoker can still contribute, but these two supports are going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting. And if they don't do that, then I guess it's just going to be very passive pulling jungling kind of thing, which is going to be okay with No Earth, because No Earth, they just really want to sit back and get levels for a little bit. Then once they hit their levels, they're going to go for that death push.
Yeah. I don't know, they do have the Invoker Sunstrike to come out on top, if that is an Exort Invoker, which is what I'm expecting coming out from this game. It definitely could work out, and they should be able to make something happen, but there is a lot of pressure on these supports. Each of the lanes that are still there are pretty self-sufficient, so even if the supporting duo doesn't get off to a good start, they'll at least be able to get something, but it will definitely delay a lot of the impact of probably your Titan Lone Druid more than anything.
Alright, so it looks like somehow we lost a couple of players since we remade, so I'm sure this game is going to get off the ground shortly. I'm pretty sure it was just server issues, like these two teams were discussing in a pretty heated manner the servers that they're going to be playing on. It was awareness. Good, so we get to chill, guys. We get to chill. Alright, there are a lot more people in this lobby than before. What the hell happened?
I don't know. I think those are actually casts. Let me see if they are.
Awareness was on the Isurus team. Like, he was in that slot. I don't know what happened, though.
Huh.
He doesn't want a part of that draft. It wasn't up to his high standards.
Apparently not. I don't know, very peculiar. Is that why they needed the remake?
I have no idea. Nadara said he was... Well, he was the one who said remake, but the person who needed it, who knows. More people are joining. This is like a whole additional broadcast channel that wasn't here before.
Yep. I don't know.
Is that why we're remaking? It's pretty weird.
Yeah, usually they don't wait. Cast off the ticket if you're late. Oh, this is so awkward.
So do I play music? Do I look at the techies and show everyone new techie stuff, or go through my inventory? What's the deal here? What's the procedure for sitting awkwardly in the lobby?
We could take a look and see if anybody has any fun items in their profiles.
Okay, let's go down the line. This is going to be very exciting. Or trophies. I don't think there are many trophies. Are there only 3 trophies out?
There's more than that. I have at least 5. Let's see.
Really?
Yeah,
My only
I was in
three.
the fantasy league, and I got
Oh.
3rd place. Let's see. You can get a trophy for your predictions on the taunt thing, and I got 3 of those. So you get a bronze trophy, 6 for silver, and I think it's 10 for gold. Like the in the bag thing. Oh, yeah, and then yeah, so I have 6. I have 2 from the fantasy league, 1 from the victory taunt, and then the 3 the other guy had from the compendium.
I wish I was actually there for my fantasy league draft. I missed most of it, so I ended up drafting a whole bunch of people who weren't even in the main event. It was depressing.
Hey, we're ready. Excellent.
Let's get this show on the road. So
Yeah.
there we go. And now we get to see the my awesome loading screen.
What is your loading screen?
Drow Ranger.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
I have the Juggernaut Wind Ranger one.
I don't know why those two are together. That doesn't really make much sense to me.
They were in the same update, so
Really?
they made splash art for them. Yeah.
Wow, okay, that must have been a really freaking
Forever
long time
ago.
ago.
Yeah. It was.
Oh god, are all the spectators gonna load in? Please, additional spectators, don't do this to me.
Oh. That would be terrible. Yeah. Well, at least we don't have to sit through another draft, and it should be pretty painless. I don't think you can alt-enter anymore. Well, there's all of our spectators, so we're actually going to have to wait the full minute, but it should be more or less painless as everybody picks up exactly what they had in the previous draft. And if they don't, I will be very mad at them because we'll have to have another remake.
Techies, both teams agree we'll play with the hero in the pool. First hero to pick it, much like a pub game, gotta spam that TEC, play hero.
The air is so quiet. We need to talk about something. I don't know. We need to get back into the mindset. It's pretty hard after
We could
a
appreciate
remake.
the splash art and the portraits. The artistic skill and everything like that.
Oh, most of them are pretty good. Jakiro could probably use some loving, though. I sense a remake in his future. Remodel.
Yeah, it doesn't really look that threatening. Like, if you're a giant dragon, you should be a little bit scarier than that.
He has little wings coming out of his hips.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No. No. Oh. Okay. Last one, I swear. Third time's a charm, I
time's
suppose.
the charm.
Yeah. Oh dear. Sorry, all of you viewers. Yeah, your loading screen is pretty nice. I haven't actually seen the preview for that one.
I don't know why there's 2 Drow Rangers there. Like, there's
Who
the dark
knows?
one and then the light one.
I don't know.
Playing musical Dota. Oh, didn't we get music for, like, buying the compendium? I didn't listen to that yet.
It's actually pretty good. Like, the, Death and Respawn stuff is a lot more epic. I don't know.
Maybe I should increase my volume so I could actually hear it.
I don't know.
We'll take a quick trip to my inventory. Everyone can see my swag.
Oh, usually I leave that muted for stream.
The
but,
Battle
yeah.
Glory Kill Banner? Is that it?
No, that's
Oh, no, the music pack. There it is.
yeah.
Equip player loadout. Should I do it? No.
Sure, I don't know. Usually I keep it muted, so it wouldn't even matter if I had it
Yeah,
equipped
my
or not.
my music volume is really low, and lots of my game volume is pretty low. So who knows? Who the hell's talking? Oh wait, no, there he is. I was like, this guy. I don't see this guy in the lobby. He's hiding.
Yeah, it's really confusing. I don't know, especially when they... Yeah, like, when they have different names, and they have their, like, lobby name, like, for
Oh, wait.
team players.
Did Isurus get their last player? They were just in with a different person. They had Algodonchin, and now they actually have a full lineup. Like, everyone is tagged as
Okay.
an Isurus player.
Well,
That's what we were waiting for? Come on, Isurus.
they should have made him play. Like,
Yeah. Watch, now Ban Earth they're going to want to remake because one of their players just became available.
I mean, Fan of Soyun's not a stand-in,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fake stand-in tag.
and I have no idea who A-Love. That's a name that I'm familiar with. Let's see, who's this other guy?
CSO. Got no idea. One of their players is named Alex Babies on Join Dota. Do you think that's A-Heart? That would make sense, right?
Maybe, or Alex.
Yeah. The best hero, worst hero, and favorite hero are all Death Prophet. So, if A-Heart is the one playing the Death Prophet, then it will in fact be Alex Babies. So saith Join Dota.
Very well.
There's some
Okay.
solid detective work going on here.
Into the game. Come on. Okay. Hopefully we have no more remakes. And thanks for sticking through with us while we get all this sorted out. It's completely out of our control. I have no idea why Isurus didn't just say that they needed to wait for their 5th player. Makes no sense to me.
I guess they figured we'll draft, and then by the time we're done, he'll be here. Of course, it never actually works out like that because people in Dota have real hard trouble telling time. Like, that's a serious problem.
It really is. Like, especially in like the American scene and whatnot. It's just so hard to get everybody in the same lobby in a punctual manner.
It's because America has 3 time zones. That's a bitch.
That's
You should have
4.
just standardized time.
Standardized time would not work. It might work,
Not with
but
that attitude, it won't work.
okay. Well, into this game we go. It's on the Radiant side. We are going now Ban Earthspirit with Glacius playing on the Shadow Shum. The other support is going to be A-Love playing on the Jakiro. CSO playing on the Silencer, probably going to be farming up solo safe. Fan of Soin presumably going to the offlane as that Brewmaster, and Alex Z playing on the Death Prophet mid.
The Silencer is wearing some really kick-ass gear. But yeah, on the Isurus side, we got Pepita moving down towards the bottom lane as the Tide Hunter, Stout Shield in tow, so preparing for a lot of harassment. Fullback is going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit support, as is Nidera on the Skywrath Mage. LDS is going to be up top as the Invoker, so he's going to be raining Sunstrikes from up top lane, and the Lone Druid has a Mohawk. Holy crap, he actually has a Mohawk. He's going to be on the mid lane. And, well, Ban Earth are going to take a quick walk about the enemy jungle, smoked up. They're not going to find anyone, so are they actually going to plant wards? No, there's no point. There's no real jungling heroes in Isurus, so scouting and failing at a gank.
Why do you think they're putting this Lone Druid towards mid? I don't think that Invoker loses against Death Prophet, and if he's going to lose, I don't think it's going to be very hard. And I'm not sure that Lone Druid would really be pressured up top all that much, and I don't think Ban Earthspirit would go aggressive. This is a very interesting move, at least for me. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I think they figure the worst possible lane is Lone Druid goes up against Brewmaster or Death Prophet, and in either of those scenarios, Lone Druid does fine. It seems like you just really don't want him to run into 3 heroes, because Ban Earth have the capability to run a tri-lane in either the aggressive top lane or the defensive bot lane, and either way, they don't want the Lone Druid to run into that. So this way, Lone Druid is guaranteed an okay matchup. So I think it's just an effort to protect the farm status of Lone Druid, and we'll have some other heroes take that proverbial bullet.
Okay, well, as far as our supports down in bottom, they are potentially looking for a gank. We have Gush first on the Tidehunter. This could be a fairly easy kill onto the Silencer. He was not expecting that one as the concussive shot, as well as the magic missile follow through, and the right clicks will be enough as Pepita picks up our first blood. Fullback's going to eat a little bit of harass, but Silencer was none the wiser there, and they might be able to find more as A-Love gets stunned up as well as Gushed again. The right clicks, are they going to be there? They're trying to turn on to Fullback. Fullback might die for this, but it's still going to be a 2-for-1 trade as well as first blood. That is going to give the kill the way of the Silencer and to Intelligence, so Ban Earthspirit at least get a little bit back after giving up those first 2 kills, but a good rotation coming out from Isurus.
Yeah, first blood is going to be pretty nice, and I'm kind of expecting to see similar things happen throughout the game, really. Vengeful Spirit and Skywrath Mage will continue to do stuff like that, and unfortunately, ganking the mid lane, which is really what they want to be doing, or what they should want to be doing, is not really going to be useful, since Lone Druid, though he does have the Orb of Venom, is not going to have Entangle for quite a long time, so the 2 supports are going to be, doing most of the setup there. top lane, that's a little bit too far away, and although Fanasoyon is fairly vulnerable to being ganked, I don't think these supports are going to leave. So we were talking about how they're going to lane this Isurus, and I think we probably wouldn't have predicted this with the Lone Druid Invoker swapped up, and the Tidehunter being, for the most part of a tri-lane. He has gone for the Gush, and he has used 2 of them, so that means he's going to be completely out of mana. But I think it's probably time to just switch right back into the more standard Anchor Smash build. You just need that 1 value point for the slow.
Yeah, and well, they'll clear him up, and they'll have that available again for the kill, and Silencer's going to have a pretty hard time farming here. He'll be able to pick up a decent amount. He's pretty far back, but if the lane ever pushes towards Isurus, they'll be able to follow up very easily after a Gush, and this is a tri-lane that you usually don't see. It's very peculiar, but has a lot of killing potential.
Yeah, the only problem is that Curse of the Silent is hitting the Tidehunter when he doesn't have mana or the skills, or the skill levels necessary for Anchor Smash, so that skill is going to continue to be extremely relevant towards the Tide until Tide gets some mana up. He will be able to buff it out now, but Anchor Smash is still going to keep chipping away at his mana pool, so the Silencer versus the tri-lane is a great scenario if you could land, multiple Curse of the Silences on multiple people. I don't think that's going to happen very much, and at that point, it's whether or not CSO can actually get his last hits, and as it stands right now, Isurus, they're just playing so aggressively that the Silencer has really got to be fearful for getting any last hits. If he steps up, he may very well die.
Yeah, but Pita does have the mana for the Gush now available. He does have his level 3, but he puts the points in a Gush. This is going to be a full-on ganking Tidehunter build. With the South Shield, I don't think we'll see any more points into Kraken's Shell, and he might back off for the point into Anchor Smash. And honestly, I think he should, if for nothing else, to take off the Curse of the Silent. But the 2 supports, Nadera and fullback, smoke up and potentially looking for mid. I don't think they have Entangle yet on the Spirit Bear, and they do not for 1 more level. And, well, they are going to get a refresh on the Spirit Bear and potentially dive this Death Prophet.
Alex shouldn't have seen these 2 supports rotate out, although the supports on bottom lane for Ban Earth should be aware that, well, they're only going up against 1 Tidehunter who's playing very, very far back. So even though they don't have vision of these 2 supports, it is pretty much clear as day that these supports are doing something silly that you should be scared of. So they're just going to rotate back and not going to get that kill. It'll be really, really hard for Ban Earth to lose a hero with such a clear rotation from Isurus.
Yeah. I don't know, they do have the Entangle now on the Lone Druid, and they zoned out the Death Prophet for a couple of creeps, but still, win for Ban Earthspirit since their Death Prophet didn't die to that gank. They rotate the Skywrath Mage back down towards bottom. He is invised up, and they might be able to catch somebody out. Glacius as well as Alev are very aggressive now that they think the supports are down. This could be their demise here, as well. Nadera does have a decent amount of spells. Tidehunter is not there, and they won't go just yet. Potentially looking to isolate this Silencer CSO. They're not going to go on Vengeful Spirits too far away.
Well, Nadara is still spotting everyone out. It's running out of Invisibility Rune really quickly, and Papita trying to play it cool. But now that Jakiro's stepping up for just a little bit too far, though Glacius going to run to fullback first. Here's the initiation on the Gush with the Jakiro opening. He's going to hit with an Anchor Smash, take a lot of damage, though. Fullback might very well be the trade before he can get anything off. Looks like the Jakiro will die as he tries to juke into the trees. Nadara should be able to chase him down, though he is salving up the Jakiro. Looks like he will live at least for a little bit longer. Nadara now's got to be the one who has to run. CSO is going to get in the way for the block, and Nadara is completely trapped. He's going to throw every spell he has, but he's going to be the one going down. Jakiro getting out of there with very high amounts of HP, and the Vengeful Spirit also limping out. Surprising to see no Sunstrike attempts or anything coming out from the Invoker.
Yeah, he has the Exhort available with 3 points. It is very weird to see not even an attempt. Even if you miss it, it's not going to lose you that much in the lane. He has Meteor invoked, and he wouldn't have Alacrity available if he went for it for a little while, but yeah. I think that's kind of a lost opportunity for him. They definitely would have been able to kill the Jakiro if it had landed on him before he salved up.
I mean, if you throw the Sunstrike just where the Jakiro was trying to juke around, that would have, at the very least, canceled the salve. And at that point, Nadera would have been able to focus fire that Jakiro down, and it for sure would have been a kill. So Invoker did force Fanasoyon back into his base, so maybe he was just concerned with his own lane. Maybe he went super aggressive and almost got a kill, because it seemed like it was some aggression from the Invoker. Otherwise, it would have been just a sheer mistake not going for a Sunstrike down on bottom. But, well, in the meantime, mid lane is just farming up. Dulce is going to be well on his way to his Midas, so he's farming up quite a storm, whereas Death Prophet has actually gone for Arcane. But they're going to go once again onto the Jakiro. They burst him down in an instant, though Papita's taking a lot of damage. It's going to be Glacius who's going to take even more. Nadara's going to get hexed up and shackled. Fullback doesn't have any mana, but Glacius is dropping pretty low. He will be brought down. In exchange, it will be for the Skywrath. No! The Salve is going to keep him alive. 13 HP, and the Skywrath gets to walk away. Isurus getting a couple kills here and there, and Silencer is going to survive. but the rest of his buddies are dead.
Yeah. It is a pretty fast Midas coming out from your lone druid, especially as a mid lane hero, going for the Orb of Venom as well first on his bear. That's going to come out in a very timely manner, rather. Phantom Soin does have his level 6, so we might see a little bit of killing potential on the Invoker if he brings him down low. But yeah, big win for Isurus down in the bottom lane, trading 2 for 0. Both of the supports dying. They definitely would have liked to kill the Silencer, but if Silencer got the kill as well as the intelligence for that death on the Scarth Mage, I don't think Ban Earthspirit would be very unhappy with how that went.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, Salve is a pretty nice item, and well, this is really nice for Isurus because they're stopping, or at the very least slowing down, the pushing team. They aren't getting any pressure on the Death Prophet, which kind of sucks, but killing off the Jakiro once or twice is always going to be very useful, and slowing down the Silencer means that you're not going to have to deal with that much right-click damage moving forward. When the push from Ban Earth, or No Earth, comes up, and it soon enough will, it'll be a lot weaker than it otherwise would have been, since now Pepita has level 6. This Ravage is going to be online for upcoming fights, and even though Scarth Mage doesn't have his level 6, nor does the Vengeful Spirit, they'll be prepared for the push, and that's exactly what Ban Earth do not want to have happen.
Yeah. I don't know, one of the things I wasn't really considering when I saw the draft was the Liquid Fire on the Spirit Bear is actually pretty ridiculous, especially before you get any sort of attack speed item on him. His attack speed slowed so much that it takes him more than 2 seconds per auto attack without the attack speed increase. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be very annoying for the Spirit Bear to deal with. We do have the supports rotated towards mid. Jakiro is sitting behind the Death Prophet. We do have a rotation coming out from Phantom Soin. They want to kill this lone Druid. Or at the very least, maybe kill this Scarth Mage. Just he's sitting in lane while lone Druid farms up a little bit.
Tidehunter getting scarily close to his Blink Dagger. 2-0-2, he hasn't died a single time. It's always been the supports that are taking the bullet for him. Nidara in the middle lane, a little bit vulnerable, but I don't know if he's actually in much danger. The Brewmaster's going to wrap around for a smoke. If he just goes in deep with the clap and split, then Nidara will just die, but the clap has to land first, or at least an Ice Path. Ice Path will be thrown and it will miss, and without any more slows or anything like that, the Skyrath will escape as Pepita, well, looking to go aggressive, took a couple of tower shots down on bottom. But it will be a mid lane push, and this is exactly what Ban Earth want. A push without resistance. They have this sheer threat of split, and that's enough to keep everyone back.
Yeah. I don't know, it's one of the weaknesses of Ban Earthspirit's lineup right now is that they just don't have a great way to set up those fights. They don't have their Blink on their Brewmaster, we do have the one complete on the Tide, and we don't have a way to get the Shadow Shaman or Jakiro in close for their disables. Liquid Fire as well as Exorcism are still going to put some decent pressure on this Tier 2 tower in mid, but they will have to back off as Exorcism is about to time out. So pretty much just one Liquid Fire thrown to that Tier 2. Invoker in the meantime, we haven't seen a lot of him, and we haven't felt his presence really with those Sunstrikes either. Completely left us uninvoked. He's been sitting on Chaos Meteor as well as Alacrity pretty much this entire game. Yeah, he's been using Alacrity a good effect in lane, and now is the Midas online, the top farmer as far as last hits are concerned in this game.
Yeah, Invoker is going to be playing the PvE Dota. I expect to see a Necrobook.
CSO? Down in bottom, they're going to blink forward. Body blocks coming out from the Tidehunter. He does throw out the Global Silence, but I still think he's going to die, or maybe not. They are going to back off, because that's just too deep of a dive for them to go for. I think they could have just committed the Ravage there. It may or may not have been worth it. We are going to have Blink Ravage still available for the Tidehunter, so they definitely can fight this, although potentially a missed opportunity on the Silencer kill.
Well, yeah, Silencer does get away, but he was forced to use that ultimate, whereas Isurus did literally nothing but blink up with a Tidehunter. So they get a pretty nice win in the fact that they draw out that spell, but it's only going to be a real win if they make something happen with this 95-second opening that they have. They're going to push very aggressively on this bottom lane. These heroes are not great at pushing, and there might be some resistance. Fanasoyan with the Haste Rune is moving pretty quickly down towards bottom, and Brewmaster, you will have to respect the Ancient Seal level 2 and the Chain Stun to follow up, so he's got to be careful if he does want to defend this tower, and it looks like, well, I don't know if they actually want to. Fanasoyan's still sticking around for just a little while longer, and Isurus, they smell something coming, but in the meantime, Invoker, he's just farming up top lane. There's no one from Ban Earth that is really going to go up there for a very long time, I feel, and Invoker is going to get all the time and space in the world to push down towers and basically be Broodmother.
Pretty much. He does have the double Forge Spirits available at level 10. Since he went for the 1 point in Wex, that's going to be online now. He doesn't have the Invoke for it. There you go. Does have Sunstrike and Forge Spirits. So now his spells are looking a little bit more conventional, so we're going to see that global Ion Cannon coming out from this Sunstrike. Well, in mid, it looks like that's where they're going to push. They still have the Blink Ravage available for the Tidehunter, and they definitely can take a fight. I don't know. They still haven't been able to do very much with that opening. Down in bottom, the tier 1 tower is taking about half damage, and now mid is probably going to take about that much, if not more.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Hand-of-Midas attack speed is not on the Spirit Bear, so he's not attacking too quickly, and Ban Earth, they do have 3 points in Liquid Fire, so this tower push on bottom should be relatively simple. Vengeful Spirit's going to take this opportunity to try to get her level 6 up, so having that swap is certainly going to be very useful, but the tower is going to fall. The only question is who's going to kill it. Ice Path is going to be pretty ambitiously thrown towards fullback. Actually, he might get slammed. No, he will be able to slip away, just barely though. The tower is going to be destroyed. Jakiro with the pushing power is going to take it, but it is a perfect 1-for-1 tower trade in the end.
Yeah, the mid tower arguably more important, so Isurus are going to be pretty happy with how that went down, and Invoker also going to take a tier 1 tower up in top, unless it gets denied up by Glacius, and since they zone him off of the tower, they will be able to secure this deny. Still a win for Isurus, despite having a little bit of gold taken away from them across the map.
Yeah, really against a pushing lineup, it's all about keeping parity at the very worst, and they have done exactly that. It's 2 towers down versus 2 towers down, and against a Death Prophet and a Jakiro and a Shadow Shaman, you are most likely going to be many more towers down than being even. So for Isurus, they get it denied, which kind of sucks, but it'll be fine because they're going to blink in and Ravage onto 3. Now a Sunstrike to follow with the Meteor. Death Prophet taking a lot of damage. She will go down by burning. Now Pepita with the gush onto Glacius, gonna drop him pretty low, but the Invoker focusing a little bit onto A-Love. Looks like the damage onto Glacius just simply won't be enough. They silence up the Jakiro, throw a couple spells his way. Another Blink Gush is gonna be available soon enough, but both these supports are going to survive. Although Pepita jumps in for the Anchor Smash, he gets the Jakiro, and then he's trying to TP out. 50 HP, a shock will kill him off, but Glacius cannot get the vision, it seems. Tidehunter gets to live, and Isurus get a very nice 2-kill up on top.
Yeah, a beautiful Ravage coming out from the Tidehunter, just catching everybody on like the very end of that. Perfect, coming out from Pepita. And they were able to convert that into a pretty easy kill on the Death Prophet, as well as Silencer ultimate used. 2 for 6 our kill score, and yeah, looking really solid. They're not going to be able to get a tower off of that, since the tier 2 tower is there, and they've already taken the tier 1, but Invoker's still going to be pretty comfortable down this lane. They'll rotate down towards bottom.
I'm pretty sure there haven't been any Brewmaster splits yet. That's kind of uncharacteristic of the hero in general.
Yeah, it really is. Brewmaster, he attempted one down in bottom, but it ended up getting cancelled and not mattering either. Yeah, it's really weird to see him not be able to use it. It's not the easiest game to jump into, as you do have to worry about a Vengeful Spirit as well as Skywrath Mage Silence to smack you. But I am very interested to see when this Brewmaster is actually going to come online. Is he sending anything to him on the courier? It's just going to be a point booster. I don't like this choice coming out from Fan of Soyan. He's been having trouble finding those initiations, and this item's not going to help, and it's only going to delay his Blink Dagger. Yeah,
so he could stand and fight a little bit better, but that's not really what Ban Earth want to do. This Brewmaster is pretty much their team fight. That and the Global Silence from the Silencer. If he can't get into that team fight, odds are we're not going to be seeing a split for, you know, at the very least like 3 minutes, because he will not get a chance to. At least with a Blink Dagger, you have a chance of catching the Skywrath Mage off guard, so he can't instantly land that silence. But when you're walking in that slow, it's gonna be Isurus, you know, either silencing you or retreating, since they're gonna get global silenced. Either way, your Brewmaster ultimate's not gonna do that much. And well, Ban Earth, they're gonna go for a push up on top. Glacius does have the Serpent Wards, though he's not gonna dedicate them just yet. This is going to be a tier 2 for a tier 1 tower trade. Ban Earth are pushing pretty quickly, but they're losing towers just as quick. And there's the tower trade, and in the meantime, mid lane, Dulce with that Demolish and the Spirit Bearer with that Relic up. 15 minutes into the game. And Isurus, they can defend up on top lane, but it looks like they're just going to go for more damage onto the towers.
They're going to lose their 2-2 tower mid at this rate. They might get the one up top. They drop the Serpent Wards as well as the Death Prophet ultimate. And actually, those Serpent Wards are finally fixed. Hooray!
Yes.
But we jump in. The Ravage is going to catch out 2, and they gush up 1 as well. Silence up on Alex. They won't be able to secure that kill as well. They have the Silencer also inbound. Everybody's taking a lot of damage. Macropyre down on the ground. They're going to get the vision, but the Skywrath Mage ulti is going to clean up the Shadow Shaman. They lose kill on the Vengeful Spirit. Jakiro kind of caught in a very awkward situation, trying to turn on this Invoker. They're going to be able to get it because of this Crypt Storm coming out, or will the Jukes be enough? No, they're not. The Liquid Fire is going to burn him down, if nothing else. Well, actually, the Quest regen, no. Double kill for the Jakiro, but he's going to lose his life for this one. Still going to be happy with how that last engagement went. And, well, Ice Path, he finds the Tidehunter inside a corner, and Alub might be able to make this a triple. Let's see, Pepita. He's juking around, they bring in the Spirit Bear now, and, well, eventually the Jakiro is going to fall after quite an extended duration trip inside those trees over there. It is still going to be the Tier 2 tower dropped. I think they got the last hit for that one, and it is Shadow Shaman who picks that one up. Yeah, however, Radiant's online, as well as getting the Tier 2 tower down in bottom. Isurus are going to be pretty happy with that exchange.
Yeah, it could have gone a lot better and a lot worse for both sides, honestly. I think Bannerth are going to be okay with the fact they took down 2 towers, but this is the really scary thing. It's the Radiance on the Spirit Bear, and even if you may Liquid Fire him or Hex him or Shackle the Bear, he's still going to be burning you down. And if we take a quick look at the Bannerth heroes, they're not that tanky. Brewmaster is very tanky because he's gone for this really weird Blink Dagger-less tanky build, but Shadow Shaman's going to be very vulnerable. Silencer has Aghanims up, so he's decently tanky enough. Death Prophet has her mech. Everyone else, though, they'll slowly get burned down, and this is not going to be happy times for the Isurus Gaming side. They have still yet to use the split, and I don't think it's going to happen for quite a while, because, I mean, they're always going to be on the... they're always not going to have an opportunity. Tidehunter with a Blink Dagger, and he's going to possibly look for a Blink Gush. This is a very aggressive, high-damage Tidehunter compared to what we usually see. Maxing out Gush over this Kraken Shell this early on can put some serious hurt, especially when you combine it with the Lone Druid doing a lot of physical, and they're going to find CSO. Pepito will get last worded, but he will buff that out pretty quickly. Glacius, though, going to be the one to focus. He's going to hex up LDS, but not for long. There's finally a split, but I don't know if it's going to do anything. They're going to try to chase down Pepito. They do get him, but can they kill off anyone else? The Brewmaster is way too far away to throw off a rock. In the meantime, in the left side of the fight, LDS going to drop a Meteor, and, well, there's a Macropyre. No one go into that fire, because it is bad for both teams. LDS going to find an Invis Rune, then probably going to make this a reinitiation, as fullback still does have the swap. I don't think they could catch anyone, but in the end it is a Tidehunter death for a Shadow Shaman death. Bannerth are going to be okay with that, but it's kind of expected, as they did use a big teamfight ultimate, the Brewmaster split, but they're not done yet. There's a Silence, and fullback going to get caught with the Ice Path. They're going to bring down this Vengeful Spirit. He's going to try to turn around and distract so that LDS can escape, but the damage from the Silencer is going to be enough, as Isurus end up losing 3 heroes in exchange for only 1.
The Lone Druid throughout all of that was just pushing up bottom lane. I definitely would have thought that fight would have went differently had they had the Radiance Burn as well as the Lone Druid auto-attacking throughout all of that. But we are going to see the Lone Druid pick himself up, presumably a Hyperstone next. Yeah, finally does give the Midas the way of the Spirit Bear, so that's extra auto-attack speed. It's going to be nice as they jump into the Glacius in mid. He's going to need a Skywrath Mage ultimate. No way he's getting out of that. He does get the kill on the Skywrath Mage. That is Serpent Words, which are going to be farmed up, and I don't think that's worth it for the Shadow Shaman, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really not. At least he got something out of that, but now there's going to be 100 seconds where the Shadow Shaman is going to be unable to contribute to the pushing, which I still think Bannerth should be looking to do, but they're just not doing it just yet, so... a little bit of an awkward stage in this game. Brewmaster has his Aghanim Scepter completed, which is certainly going to help him in these team fights, but we saw that split in the last fight did pretty much nothing. He used it and then tried to run in, but by that time everyone from Isurus saw that, and they were already running away. So still, this Brewmaster pick is, I would say, a good one. Just the way it's been played is kind of questionable, I would say.
Yes, this completed Aghanim Scepter, however, and that mischance is going to be very useful up against the Lone Druid, as well as the Invoker to a certain extent. Throughout his ultimate, being able to throw out those Drunken Hages as well as Thunderclaps is going to be nice, don't get me wrong, but I would have liked to see him pick up the Blink Dagger first. They're going to rotate in the Roshan Pit with Isurus. It's not going to be a slow Roshan by any means. They don't have great sustain throughout all of this, and, well, they'll just tank it up with the Force Spirits and take it very quickly.
And Bannerth, they really would have liked to fight this. You could see them grouping up for a smoke. Unfortunately, waiting for the Silencer, and it's a little bit too late now because Invoker is going to have that double life. He also has a Necro level 3. And Isurus, with this momentum, they could very well go for a straight tier 2 tower push, though Papita not that healthy, so maybe they want to heal up their Tide first, but Vanasoyon up to the north, going to have his smoke dispelled, but it seems like Isurus did not see that, so it's still all good. Pepita following back really far. This might end up biting him in the ass because he's going to be the first one to get jumped upon. Though still Bannerth without any Blink Daggers, they'll actually struggle to get initiation on him, but he does get silenced and shocked and brought down in an instant. That's no Ravage for this fight for Isurus, and their Invokers up into the air will drop down into a Macropyre. The split is there, and, well, the Bear is trying to focus on his Death Prophet, but the Death Prophet is way too quick. Glacius really focused down by LDS, but now LDS calling the wards. He's going to go down as Mystic Flare does bring down the Death Prophet, it seems. And now Dulce dropping pretty low. He's down to 200, but the Bear's still burning everyone. It's 3 down for Isurus, same as for Bannerth, but the Invoker's going to come right back up. He's still trapped in the Serpent Wards, though, so he's going to have to dig himself out. CSO, he's going to try to fight up against LDS. He'll be able to do a little bit of damage, but in the end, everyone's going to back off. Isurus getting away with a couple of low health heroes. Bannerth take a decent fight.
3 for 2 plus Aegis. It's still fairly even. Even though the Evoker died inside the Serpent Wards, he was able to kill off the Jakiro before he fell. So yeah, I'm not sure how the gold is actually going to be reflected in that graph, but it looks like it's in the favor of Isurus since they can get the gold from the Invoker kill. Lone Druid putting some more pressure down in towards bottom. He pulled his bear out of that fight towards the end of it, but this Lone Druid is getting very scary levels of farm with almost a completed Assault Cuirass.
Alright, real quickly guys, as far as stream maintenance is concerned, it seems like my volume just dropped. I just did something that I think might have just raised it, but I'm going to need you guys to tell me if I just fixed it, because I didn't press anything. If anything happened, it would have been just me knocking my mic a little bit, so please let me know if that is fixed now, because I would like people to hear what I say. The mid lane push, though, will continue as Pabita does jump in. This time he does have a Ravage, but Jakiro is not worth the Ravage, and they'll just very easily take this tower. They have Necro units available. Are they really going to think about high ground with this? This is pretty ambitious, but looks like there will be a little bit of suspense before that.
Yeah, as we're waiting, they do have Ravage available in all of their cooldowns, whereas the global ultimate is still on cooldown for 30 seconds, 15 for Exorcism, and 24 for Brewmaster Split. They might have just found a really good time to take the tier 3, but if they stay for more, I definitely can see them being punished unless they get a beautiful initiate.
I mean, the Lone Druid almost has the Assault Cuirass you're talking about, so I don't really see a reason to push up the high ground without it, when you could very easily back off and then push the high ground with it. The difference is night and day, especially when you have so many units attacking with the Forge Spirits, the Bear itself, and those Necro units. So, Isurus, though they do have a chance to do it, it's got to be just top lane. It's a lot easier and it's not as risky.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the choice to go high ground if they do go for it. But it looks like that's how they're postured. I don't know. I hope they just back, but it looks like they're not going to.
Well, I mean, they have still Ravage, so they are fighting into no Global Silence and no Exorcism for another 15 seconds. The Brewmaster Split not for another 20, so Isurus, I don't know if they know these timers as well as we do. Like, they might have them marked. I don't know if they do that. If they do, they will definitely know that they have a small opening here, in which case it's fine to go for it, but only for a very small amount of time. About 20 seconds is about the window.
Yeah. I don't know. As I said, I think in 20 seconds that'll be enough to get the tower down. But if they get the tower, I don't think they'll back off, but they should, if they know the timers for these ultimates.
Alright, so Isurus going to get the third delay of the game. That's 2 remakes and a pause for Isurus. Congratulations. That's got to be like a new high score or something, but I guess during this break we can take a quick look at the items, see how far along Ban Earth are at actually taking these fights convincingly. They have 2 Aghanim Scepters. Okay, so 2 Aghanim Scepters, the Brewmaster and the Silencer, so if the teamfight ultimates do line up correctly, they can take a decent fight, especially if Death Prophet uses that Yule Scepter to save herself. But she doesn't have Exorcism, so Yule Scepter is going to be a pretty large non-factor. She can also use it to lift the Spirit Bear into the air. Isurus, it looks like they are thinking about going for it, waiting for this creep wave. Oh, they pop Necro units. It's go time for them. The Exorcism is going to be cooled down. The Serpent Wards are cooled down in 5. Ice Path's going to be thrown, slow down the Bear, but this is going to be at the very least just a little bit of free damage. The Bear attacking very quickly with the Midas and Hyperstone. They might be able to just take this tower and run. I think going for more is a little bit too greedy. Fortification is forced, and everyone's going to back off. They're okay with that, it seems. Now I think it's time to leave, right?
They backed off, they resummoned their Bear, and they're thinking about it. They want to go high ground, TP into the middle of things from Silencer. This could be a bad mistake. CSO is going to drop the ultimate immediately. He takes a lot of damage, but the Bear, he's auto-attacking onto the Silencer, does not get a root, and the Bear's going to die. That's going to be a death after the resummon for the Bear. No Bear available for 99 seconds, and, well, if the push wasn't stopped now, it's going to be stopped immediately as they look for an Ice Path, they look for something with this Brewmaster Split, but they're not going to find it. Lone Druid losing his Spirit Bear there is crippling.
Oh. Sunstrike, though, getting at least something, but yeah, this is a pretty nice opening for Ban Earth. I don't know if they know the fact that the Lone Druid does not have the Spirit Bear resummon. If they did, they would definitely be looking to push, though they don't have their Exorcism. They use that as well as the Split in order to only get a Spirit Bear kill. I mean, it is great for them to kill off that Bear, but at the same time, they invested pretty much everything to get it done.
Yeah, once the Bear comes back, they'll have the Assault Cuirass as well. Isurus have some pretty good tools to fight, although right now the Lone Druid is working with effective items that would be good to see 3 minutes in.
Alright, so the Assault Cuirass is going to be up soon enough as, Global Silence is going to be down for another minute. Really, that teleportation from the silencer was probably the worst way you could ever start a fight in Dota ever,
Probably.
having your silencer teleport into a whole mess of heroes. Luckily for him, he got out. It seemed like he would have just been blown up instantly. If Isurus were perhaps a little bit quicker on their fingers, then they might have gotten him before he actually got his global silence off. Like, the Scarith Mage should have been spamming Ancient Seal on the teleportation spot. I think they were even surprised that the silencer didn't cancel.
Yeah, I would say that's fair. So next level mind games coming out from a very questionable TP, I suppose. I don't know. BKB now completed on your Invoker, and he's going to be able to stay in the middle of these fights for quite some time. Invoker with the alacrity on the Spirit Bear. That Spirit Bear is going to be very scary, and yeah, it's going to be really solid inside these team fights. Right now, it's more or less only giving him the extra damage. The attack speed is it's 20. It's not worthless. It's going to more or less negate the slow and combined coming out from the Midas of the Liquid Fire. But yeah, Isurus, they're going to rinse and repeat. They have their Ravage, and well, this time they are fighting into the full barrage of ultimates coming out from Ban Earth, as they had to wait for that lone Druid to get his bear back. But now that they do have the bear, they're going to jump in. The Ice Path, this is looking pretty familiar, except for this time with no silencer and with very little health on the tower. They're going to take that, and now the barracks, they need to initiate or do something about this Spirit Bear, because this tower and this barracks are going to fall very quickly if they don't. They'll Drunken Haze it up, but I think that Isurus can just back off. They get the Global Silence as well as the Silence of the Fan of Soyan. Before that, Ice Path is going to land in Pepita. They will not be able to get off the Brewmaster split as he's focused down, and now they have spells available to him. The Lone Druid Spirit Bear looking for a root, not going to find it, but Alex Z being ripped to shreds. They only need one more auto attack. The Yules is going to delay things. It looks like they're going to lose the bear again, but the Ravage comes out. It's going to be decent enough in order to catch out these last couple of kills. No Spirit Bear for a minute. Dulce is going to be caught up by an Ice Path as well as the last word, but that's it. 1 for 2 as well as the Spirit Bear, but most importantly, the barracks, the melee barracks have fallen, and well, they've forced out a lot of the cooldowns coming out from Earthspirit, and it looks like they want to commit for more swap onto the Jakiro. They're going to drop a magic missile. No silence on the fullback, and he's also going to be last worded up. I think they should have just gone straight out. His fullback probably going to die straight to the silencer, and that's going to be some extra intelligence for him, now up to 12. Yeah, still, teamfight win for Isurus, although I think they could have disengaged pretty early on into that.
Yeah, I think their Vengeful Spirit disconnected like halfway through that fight, so that was really awkward. They were like, oh, we still have a full health Vengeful Spirit that wasn't in the fight. Let's go fight. But then Vengeful Spirit forgot that she doesn't actually have mech yet, so she's pretty vulnerable. Regardless, Isurus, they get exactly what they came for. They finish off the tier 3 tower, they work through all the ultimates of Ban Earth, and they ultimately take the Raxes. Even though they lost 1 or 2 heroes and the bear, which is going to be on another 2-minute cooldown, which is really freaking annoying for the lone Druid player, it's still a pretty big win because they took the Raxes of a team that's supposed to be taking your Raxes at about this time. Isurus, they're playing this at a surprisingly fast clip. I thought that it'll be mostly Ban Earth looking for these types of pushes, but Isurus, they're taking the heat to Ban Earth, and it seems like Ban Earth, they're just really struggling to deal with this. With the double global silence and silencer that's soon to be come up, that'll definitely help, assuming the Brewmaster doesn't get silenced right before that global silence drops.
Well, the next item pickup that I noticed was Jakiro picking himself up a Yule's Scepter. Now, this is a good item up against the lone Druid Spirit Bear, but I definitely think that Dulce's next item should be a BKB for his bear. With the 2 Yules as well as the Cyclone coming out from Brewmaster, if he does not have that available, this bear is going to do very little, not to mention the Drunken Haze. I think just having the BKB is going to be very important.
Drunken Haze was casted occasionally in that last fight, but there was a lot of time where their Spirit Bear was perfectly sober and hitting the tower or the Raxes or both or whatever. So the Brewmaster has to be a little bit more on top of that haze. It's crippling to do that to the Spirit Bear. That, throw him up in the air with the Cyclone from the wind aspect, and then throw him up in the air again with double Yule Scepter. A BKB, normally getting it this early on the lone Druid is really, really unheard of, but I would say this game, it is one of those games where it would be a much better item than whatever this Demon Edge is going to be built into. Most likely an MKB to dodge the Drunken Haze, which is going to be very useful. But is it more useful than a BKB? I don't really know. It looks like Ban Earth, they're actually preparing to defend this. There is a Ravage available. There's the Blink Forward, Fanasoyan, and the Global Silence. Although LDS pops the BKB, so he's not silenced anymore. He's sitting and just cold snapping people. That's not really what he needs to be doing. He needs to drop the Meteor because he's taking a lot of damage from the physical of this Death Prophet, though he's returning a lot as well. The Mystic Flare will miss, but it will clean up the Death Prophet regardless. Still the Ravage is being held, and Tidehunter wants to use it pretty shortly, but I don't even know if it's necessary at this point. Force that forward, gonna Ravage onto 3, instantly take down the Dragon, and then Glacius with the Gush. In the back end, Phantasoyon's back into his main form, trying to kill off Invoker, who did so much havoc in that fight. And Isurus, they only lose their Skywrath Mage. That was an outrageously good fight for them.
Yeah, I don't know, yet again, we're going to see Lone Druid lose his Spirit Bear, which, I mean, he's been very aggressive with his play on this bear, but, yeah. Still, they're going to have high ground. Now they go into the Silencer. He's going to be gushed up next to his tier 4 towers, but that's just going to zone him out. And this second lane of Rax is probably as good as dead. They only have buyback on the Shadow Shaman. Death Prophet as well as Shakira will be back in about 10 seconds, but by that time their Rax are already gone.
The Lone Druid Bear legitimately just 6-shotted the range Rax, and it drops at the exact same time as melee Rax, so well played by Isurus. Their coordination is A-okay, and now they're going to slide down to the bottom lane. This might be a little bit too much. They don't exactly need to be doing this, but hey, as long as they feel comfortable. Peta still does not have a Ravage, but still the damage on the Spirit Bear. Look at how much he's doing. That's 300 a pop with Assault Cuirass and to add to his attack speed. That's pretty freaking crazy. They're going to drop another Global Silence. Phantasoyon's going to jump in, but I think at this point, with 2.5 Raxes down, it's pretty much just a formality. Their bear might die again, so that's going to slow them down for yet another minute, but the bear is actually going to get tornadoed out by LDS. Now he's probably going to pop the BKB and tank up everything. No magic going his way, no physical either, because the Death Prophet ultimate is not up. A heart is going to go down. The bear still alive, but walking in the fire, Force-staffed out. Gotta save that bear, Isurus, and they will. They take 2.5 sets of Raxes, and the only set remaining is the range down bottom. If you blow on it, it will die, and yeah. The Sunstrike BM kill, marking the end of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. At effectively Mega Creeps at 30 minutes in the game, not a chance. We'll throw out a couple of spells before we actually see the Ancient explode. But, well, after 3 visits up against the team of no Earthspirit, Isurus Gaming are going to find themselves a win, and now we're looking to secure out this series 2-0. So, I don't know. See you soon for game number 2. It should be up shortly.
Alright, guys, we'll be right back with game number 2.